All right, diving into our investment pop quiz number 4. This would be a follow up to both maybe some information we saw on the stock market movie, but particularly the investment options research. We're getting a little bit deeper into investing, planning for your future, peeling back a little bit more of the onion related to 401k, and this review quiz covers that information. Again, my expectation is you take the review quiz first, do a little check on what your understanding is at the time, have your notes out right now, and be ready to jot down things maybe you're still struggling with as far as concepts goes. All right, so maybe some of you are related to like investment brokers or people that are like investment gurus. These are broad brushstrokes, trying to keep things fairly simple, not too complicated. Okay? First of all, who is the police over the stock market? We would call that the SEC, also known as the Securities and Exchange Commission, created in 1934 through the Securities and Exchange Act after the fracas that happened in the stock market in 1929. President Roosevelt said, hey, we need some new laws. We need to have a government entity that not only has supervisory roles over the stock market, but enforcement roles. It can actually shut people down in their trading activities if it's trying to mislead investors. Okay? Securities and Exchange Commission. What is a prospectus? So if a company wants you to invest in them, we would say this is like a flyer that promotes investment in a company's stock. So it's going to have historic information, it's going to have some growth, it's going to have some financial statements. And again, the financial information of a company, if they're publicly traded, that's all out there. It's for everybody to see. Okay, warts and all. So a prospectus is in a company trying to encourage people to invest, and they put some information out there. And understand everything that's on that prospectus, they're trying to get people, entice them to invest in that company. Securities and Exchange Commission, if they're number one, they oversee all that reporting. And these companies, when they report financial information, have to do so under the guidelines and regulations of the SEC. And if they try to pull a fast one, they'll get shut down. Okay, question 3, Dow Jones Industrial Average. These are actual figures from 2009, but not recently. I'll tell you, it's not 26,215 now as I speak on April 20th. It's really gone down below that. But anyway, recently 26,215. What is the percentage increase over time? Now, first of all, you can see that it's a percentage increase. It's going to be positive, right? If you look at 7,000 going to 26,215, you should be able to predict that, oh my goodness, that's going to be a huge increase. Not just 3% or 20% or whatever. That's going to be enormous. That's a big increase. So again, step back and go, what do you think the answer is going to be? Okay, one more time. I'm going to do my crude drawing here with your starting point. Let's pretend this is a timeline down here, this answer line here. Starting point x1, then x2, and then here's my little arrow off to the right. Whoops, that's not what I intended to do. Little arrow off to the right. Okay, timeline. x1, x2, where x1 is the beginning amount, x2 is the ending amount. As you can see, x1 is going to equal my starting point, which is 7,000. Whoops, what's that all about? 7,063. Might help if I could type, right? 7,063. My ending point is x2 on my timeline. We're going to call that 26,215. I'm going to get rid of my little arrow. I'm done with my timeline for now. I'm actually going to do some calculations. Percentage change calculation is going to be my ending point, x2. Let's put this in parentheses, by the way. And if you need to jot this formula down, do something, all right? Practice it. Go back and review my videos. x2 is my ending point, which is some year after '09, minus beginning point, x1, February '09. That's when the stock market dipped after that recession. Dividing by, and again, when we say percentage change from what? From our starting point, x1. It's not the bigger number. it's going to be the starting point x1. So what's my formula going to be? It's going to be 26,215. My ending point, x2, minus 7063. My beginning point, x1. And that difference right there is what we call the arithmetic change. Has my value, dollar-wise, in this case, points. If we're talking about Dow Jones Industrial Average, it's not dollars, excuse me. It's points. Again, Dow Jones Industrial Average, it's a weighted average index of what 30 companies are doing. Okay, arithmetic change, has it gone up or down value-wise, whatever the point of unit of measure is, divided by my beginning point, 7063. Okay, that's going to equal, pause, come over here to my friend Microsoft Excel, 26215 minus 7063, x2 minus x1, divided by 7063, which is x1. Hit enter, and I have 271.2%. I told you that was going to be an enormous change, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay? So that's 271.2%, which means it almost quadrupled. It almost went 4 times what it originally started at. It increased almost 3 times its original amount, 7,000. I'm kind of using variable terms there, but an increase of 271%, a big increase. Who determines the financial statements of a company are fair and accurate? And if we were back at College Place High School, I could show you my Washington State Certified Public Accounting Certificate, which I got in 1991. Anyway, we call this an auditor. An auditor works independently of the company they're checking the financial statements out. They work under the guidelines of the SEC, and they are not employees of that company, and they'll come in and they will test the books. We call that auditing, or testing the financial records of a company. And the key word here is they are independent. They are independent. They have nothing to gain by giving them a fair opinion or a good opinion. They are essentially extensions of the SEC to make sure that everything is fair. What's a general increase in stock prices? We call that a bull market. Bulls and bears. The bulls, when the bear fights the bull tries to get the bear by lifting its horns upward. Like what's in front of Wall Street? To get a there you go. There's the bull in front of the New York Stock Exchange. And again, he's going to get advantage in this fight between the bear and the bull by lifting his horns. And the bear tries to pull him down with his claws. And again, that would be called a bear market if stock prices are going down. Bull market if stock prices are going up. I hope we have a bull market here shortly with all of our stuff from COVID. A number that represents the cumulative performance of a group of companies. Again, we call this a stock index. In the case of the Dow 30, it is a weighted average of how 30 companies are doing at any one point in time. This seems to be one concept that just gets past kids. All right? Stock index, you're throwing 30 companies into one big pot, and you're coming out with one number, unit of measure being points, not dollars, points. Right now it's 23,600 something. But again, stock index measures how those 30 companies are doing at any one point in time. The device that revolutionized the communication of stock information, that was the telegraph. This was from the movie we saw. Telegraph shut down these smaller exchanges because now the bigger exchanges could just communicate via telegraph instantly. Spreading your risk, again, we call that diversification. If you remember from your Investopedia, you put your money in 5 stocks, a group of stocks. Here's some repeat questions from our last review as a portfolio. One more, here we go again, review from our previous quiz. Is a dividend. Let's spell that right. We're dividend. Okay. And what are we? The 8 of us, go forth not back to protect our king from the foes of attack. Who or what are we? We are chess pawns. There's 8 pawns out there. If you're not a chess player, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you for watching. And again, if you're struggling with any concepts or have questions, please let me know. Have a great day.